it was just announced that Yoko Kanno, the composer for Macross Plus and Macross Frontier, will be doing original music for the upcoming Netflix Cowboy Bebop live action. It's yay! That is good news. Now I feel like watching it. the show will be the show will star John Cho, Mustafa Shakir, and Daniela Pineda, or is it? Is I think it's Pineda. I think I spelled it wrong.
Pineda, I think it is. Yeah.
And John Cho will be Spike Spiegel. Mustafa Shakir will be Jet Black, and Daniela will be Faye Valentine. So, what was your feeling about this show before they announced Yoko Kanno, and then after? Let's start with Chad. Oh, that's the what do you call it? The toenail. We all have to do the same time.
Well, let's get the obvious out of the way, which is I know there's so many fans hating on this thing already, and we get that with everything. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's a live action production, Ghost in the Shell, Akira, anything, it's like we get that huge backlash from so many fans, which is like, stay away from my anime, you live action bastards. You're just gonna fuck it up, you know? And that, I mean, that's an opinion that's not without merit. Like, let's keep that in mind too. Like that, I mean, some of the adaptations we've seen have been terrible. I mean, I know like a lot of anime is also looked upon by American creators, studios and stuff like that, the same way video game content is looked at. It's considered like, you know, disposable. It's considered not very good. It's considered lowbrow, blah, 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 blah. They have all of these negative stereotypes about all of the mediums that we actually enjoy, you know, and think highly of, and that have actually produced like legitimate works of like great entertainment and great art. But right or wrong, that's the perception. So right off the bat, there's a good reason to be concerned. However, I think that in the case of something like Cowboy Bebop, I think that a lot of anime fans are failing to understand that Cowboy Bebop has huge appeal to Western audiences and always has. And there is actually a lot of people, I think, who don't like anime, but like Cowboy Bebop. And, you know, this is something that people have like complained about. You know, that's an aspect of Cowboy Bebop that fans, anime fans themselves have complained about, that it's like, oh, it's, you know, you might not like anime, but you like Cowboy Bebop, and that means you just don't like anime, you know, sort of thing. Well, I mean, this is the difference between cultures and entertainment in different cultures and stuff like that. People are mostly geared towards knowing what's familiar, you know, and liking what's familiar and all that sort of stuff. And Cowboy Bebop is something that I think a lot of people, when they see it, a lot of people from North America, when they see it, they have more respect for it than they do for other anime. And as a result, a live action production of something like Cowboy Bebop has a much greater chance of being handled properly than almost any other animation property were it to be adapted to live action. So I think that's something to be at least a little excited about. The fact that it's also Netflix, who is very anime friendly and has done a lot to sort of like promote anime and, you know, carry anime on their service and whatnot, is great. I think that's great. And the cast looks great. I think it's awesome. The fact that Yoko Kanno's involved, stuff. I mean, there's a lot to be hopeful about with this. I'm not saying not to be skeptical. I'm not saying to, you know, unclick your mind, you know, like turn your mind off and just like, you know, throw your lot in with the show and stuff like that. But I'm also saying like, just, you know, let's examine a lot of the factors involved here, because I think there's a lot here that has a lot more potential than any live action adaptation of anime that's yet been attempted.
So what's your take? And then also, you know, let's get started on the Yoko Kanno thing.
Right. Off topic. I did not realize we were going to be talking about this when I got dressed this morning and I'm wearing a Cowboy Bebop t-shirt. Yeah, so before the announcement of Yoko Kanno working on the music, I was just not interested in the live action. Netflix has not produced good live action anime stuff before. Look at the Death Note movie. Ugh, that was a nightmare. Even William Dafoe couldn't save that movie, and that says a lot. So I wasn't really interested in it. Also because I really am of the mindset that, you know, just because it's animated doesn't mean it needs a live action version. And if I already like the animated version, I don't know if there's much more the live action can give me, because the things I like about the animated version are because it's animated in the aspects of the art. I am now interested enough in the live action show that I will probably watch the first episode and see how it goes from there. You know, because I really like Yoko Kanno's music, especially the music that she did for Bebop. Like, it's so unique and iconic. Like, there's a reason that they're bringing her on for this, is because I don't think you could do Bebop without her. And I think if I remember correctly, Shinichiro Watanabe is a consultant on the TV show. So they are getting input from the director, and bringing her back for the music is just kind of like icing on the cake, you know? So it doesn't mean it's going to be good, but I'm at least interested to see how this is going to go. I actually think the casting of John Cho as Spike is really interesting, because that's not the first person I would have thought of to play Spike. But then when they released that little video along with the announcement showing everyone like the way they would look as their characters, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it. Like, I would never have guessed that myself or selected that if I were casting live action Bebop. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good fit, at least for John Cho. So I'll watch the first episode. I might not judge it as harshly the first time I watch it, you know, now that I know Kanno's involved and I have something to look forward to. But yeah, that's about it. I'm not like super stoked about the show overall. I'm more excited about Yoko Kanno producing new music than the actual show.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like when I heard about the John Cho thing, I was just like, oh yeah, of course it's Netflix. You know, what are you what do you expect from them? But I'm a John Cho fan. I like John Cho on a lot of stuff. But he just doesn't ring as Spike Spiegel to me. And I knew that Shinichiro Watanabe was going to be a consultant. It just still wasn't enough, because I don't know if it was a serious note on the series. But with the addition of Yoko Kanno, I was like, okay, maybe they're going to try to give us because in a way, this is going to be brought to new viewers, to younger viewers that hasn't seen Cowboy Bebop. And there's always going to be a thing with us old fans to be able to say, like, this is the Cowboy Bebop that we know. You know what I mean? And if they fail, and this is the Cowboy Bebop that the kids like, we're going to be like, God damn it, no. No, there's a better one.
Well, with this one in particular, I think they're creating new storylines for the characters, not necessarily changing their characterization, but they're new scenarios. It's not necessarily adapting scenarios from the TV show. I think that was announced really early on, and I'm a little fuzzy on the details, so take that with a grain of salt. But that part I think will be interesting, because in terms of it being an adaptation, it's not going to be beat for beat, especially if they're producing new content about these characters. So that part is also interesting, but it is part of why I wasn't interested, because I'm like, well, I don't want to see, not necessarily because I don't want to see new content with these characters, but I'm like, how far are you going to stray from these characters to make this work? And that was part of why I wasn't like super stoked when it was first announced, or really all that interested in watching it. So, but we'll see.
I'm wondering also, they said that it was original music by Yoko Kanno. I'm wondering, I know they used the theme song for the promo, but I wonder how much of it is going to be actual original music for the new series. You know, are they going to be able to use the theme song for the actual series?
Tank 2021 arrangement.
I mean, are they going to be able to use that? Yeah. So I mean, you know, it's the words Netflix and original don't really explain anything, right? Because it's always going to be like Netflix original anime. Is it really original, or are you just bringing it over to the US. So that's another thing I was wondering about, if it's going to be the actual soundtrack from the, well, it doesn't have to be completely all of the music, but the theme song at least has to be.
I think they'll do the theme song.
You think so?
I think it would be a big mistake if they didn't do the theme song.
I
At the
couldn't see
very
them-
least, an updated arrangement of it.
Yeah, I couldn't see them using it in this, like, announcement video and stuff like that, and not having it in the show. That just doesn't make sense at all.
Mhm.
So I
That
think
would
it's
be
there
like a
for sure.
huge disappointment if they didn't.
I will say this, like, to your point, Alex, though, I'm not really concerned all that much if it fails and it's the Bebop that some people actually know or like, especially the younger generation, because they were never going to see the original anyway.
Fair point.
When you get to things like this, like a live action Bebop and stuff like that, there are people who are going to watch this live action version of Cowboy Bebop who will never watch anime. Period. Hard stop. And that's just the reality of the way, like, entertainment and people, like, their tastes and demographics work. So I'm not really concerned, like, that they won't be exposed to the original, because they were never going to watch the original or enjoy it anyway. They're just not into anime. So it's just that thing doesn't bother me all that much. And I think that there is something to be gained there by having a live action adaptation, in that there will be people who will seek out the original regardless of whether or not this live action Netflix show is good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
There are always going to be a portion of the population that does that.
Of course, yeah. But to me,
So
if it doesn't feel like Bebop, I'll probably stop watching. That's what I want from it.
I can see them doing like a dual campaign, honestly, for the TV show, because I double checked just now, and Cowboy Bebop, the animated series, is available for streaming on Netflix. So if they're smart, they'll promote the live action one, and then within like the first couple weeks of pushing the live action one, they'll be like, by the way, you can catch the original. Like, it'll be one of those things that pops up on like your homepage when you log into Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like,
it'll give you suggestions for you and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And
right. And it'll be like, see the original that sparked the, Netflix original Cowboy Bebop series, and then give you the suggestion for Cowboy Bebop, the animation. So yeah. Cool. All right. And that's it for us. Thank you for watching our videos. Once again, please make sure that you comment on our videos if you'd like to share more about what we've talked about today, whether you agree or disagree. We'd love to hear it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos, and lets us know more about what kind of content you want to see in the future.